Well, it is that time, and we are back once again for the 8th season of the Formula Indy Series. Hello again, I am Gary Gotzo, the voice of the FIS, and welcome to P1's broadcasting coverage of Round 1 of Season 8 of the most premier road racing-centered league in all of the iRacing service. When it comes to the IR18, the Formula Indy Series, we open a brand new season and a new campaign here at the NURBURGRING. And joining me as always, and he's actually catching up a little bit too because, well, he's a working man. And he hasn't had the hit the updates as much as I have lately because he's again, a working man. But it is Stephen Larkamp back again for another season with me in the booth. Another season of the FIS getting ready to kick off. Stephen, welcome to the broadcast. Good to have you back. Talk about the Nürburgring and starting off this awesome season.
Oh yeah, and if last season was any indicator, we are in for one heck of a show this go around. It's FIS never fails to impress, and it's only looking to be better as the seasons have gone on. And a great place to start our season is here in Germany at the legendary Nürburgring, the Green Hell, as it was nicknamed by Sir Jackie Stewart himself. IndyCars, of course, have never run here in real life, but every time they do come here, it is quite a show. Doesn't really matter what the category is. Drivers relish the chance to run here on the Nürburgring. We're running on the GP circuit this go around. We're not running the big Nordschleife, the North Loop. We're not running that one tonight, as much as some may be disappointed, but I think some of us may be maybe a bit happy that we're not touching that one.
That is a lot of racetrack to keep your eyes on for as many cars as we got in this lineup. And that is one thing that the FIS brings every year to the table is a big lineup. And of course, let me remind you, we have two classes. So we are, even though we're not officially looking at class racing, there are two classes, a pro class and an amateur class. And they always seem to deliver 25 cars or more at every single race that we have with the Formula Indy Series. So hats off to these admins, again, for delivering a large and a very quality field.
They have, and looks like tonight we got 34 drivers lined up here to tackle the Nürburgring. And like on a track like this, 3.1 miles in length, it's not the biggest, but it's definitely not the smallest either. I think, and with a lot of tight corners here, especially in the early sectors of the lap, you're going to have a lot of people scrambling for not much real estate, especially at the start of the race. So this, I think, is going to be a lot of fun and a great place to start. And it's especially great coming back here because it's a track I've actually been to in real life. I saw the German Grand Prix here live back in 2011. That was a sight to see, and then we drove around the Nürburgring in our rental car the next day, in fact. And what a great time, even though my mom didn't like it particularly much. But it's always great to race open wheelers here, to race anything here in Germany at their most famous circuit, especially since it's a track I've been to.
Mothers, what can you do about them, right?
True. Sorry, Mom. I had to, at least I didn't tell you everything that happened.
Well, if you are able, we could get in today's starting lineup. Or you're not able.
I am. Yep, I'm in, and we're just getting myself back into the groove with. Okay, so yeah, we are in the warm-up now. And on the pole, Alex Chilcutt, new face to the series, but making a great impression immediately. A 138 even, 138.085 ahead of Tanner DeFabis, who was fighting hard for the championship last season and ultimately came up short. He'll start second in the number 5 machine. Alex Chilcutt running the number 6. Gavin Sanders, our old friend, former champion, of course, in the 28 machine, will start third alongside Will Wessler, a name that I haven't seen too much lately. He will be starting off fourth. Caleb Bensi, former series champion, will start off fifth alongside Logan Edwards in the 49 in sixth. Logan Spath, another old face, will start off seventh alongside Kevin Tomba in the 48. Jeremy Fairburn in the 87 will start off ninth alongside Kevin Bonomi in the 75. A very good run for Kevin Bonomi, rounding out your top 10. Row 6 is going to be Sebastian Gianni and Blaze Andrich. in row number 7, Dan Piazza and Nate Siefker. Row 8, Zachary Smith and Sophia Connell. Row 9, Brian Labarge and Mario Capalucci. Row number 10, Joey Selmans and Matthew Short. Row 11, Tommy Raval and Gabriel Aslan. Row 12, Dan Morea and Kevin Mundell. Row number 13, Zach Pham and Nick Goyette. Row 14 is going to be Kyle Clemworth and Gabe Ogden. Row 15, Griffin Yella and Sarah Guerra. Row 16, Hayden Herman and Dan Micklin. And the final row of the grid, row 17, Hunter Engrab, a rough qualifying run for a typically fast driver, alongside Brandon Wimbler in the 24. That is 34 cars going to be starting off tonight at the Nürburgring in the beautiful Eifel Mountains of Germany. What a place to start a new season. I think we're going to be in for a show. And it's going to be 39 laps of that show. Everyone finishing up their warm-ups.
Yeah, about 50 seconds left here. This is a fixed setup race provided by the league. A 3.19 mile, 16 turn permanent road course. We're doing 39 laps tonight, 124.41 miles. All FIS races, at least on the road courses, are right around 125 miles. No fast repair. We do have unlimited tires, but you must change the tire compounds. So if you start on the reds, you must go to the primes. If you start on the primes, you must switch to the reds at some point. We expect at least 2 stops, we think. There is a pretty fast pit road here. I believe iRacing said it was 50 miles an hour, which was kind of surprising. So a pretty fast pit road here. Last time we came to the Nürburgring was season 4 of 2022. Mitch Welker beat Hector Alvarez. And Gavin Sanders there finished 3rd. It was Mitch's 3rd win in a row to start the season, en route to a 9-win season in his first championship in 12 races that season. Welker not in the lineup, but is a former champ. Pretty much dominated that day. We were going to see a new winner.
Then maybe we'll see a new one here tonight. We got a first-time pole sitter for certain. Alex Chilcutt looking very strong, nearly half a second up, I should note, on Tanner DeFabis. That is formidable, I'll say. And we'll see how well 39 of those laps go. I know you can't pump out qualifying lap after lap after lap in any car, really, but let's see how fast that can go.
And remember, everybody, standing starts. That is the signature of the Formula Indy Series. Standing starts. So these cars are all going to be running down into turn 1. Just starting here in the middle of the front straight.
It's a very tight turn 1 at that. Nearly 180-degree hairpin. It is a very tight piece of real estate there. People are going to be scrambling, trying to get on the inside line for there and not try and blow that corner, but it's really easy to. As everyone gets themselves lined up. Chilcutt and pretty much all the top 10 are on the grid. Time is up there. Revs are coming up. Green flag flies. The new season begins, and Alex Chilcutt makes a fantastic start.
Logan Edwards had a slow start.
Slow start for Edwards there, but DeFabis looking to the outside, and so is Gavin Sanders all around the outside in the turn 1 there. Chilcutt holds him off 3 wide behind him. And look at
big wreck in the back of the pack. Big wreck in the back of the pack. Are we going to go caution?
Good question. Let's see. But Chilcutt leads them away. Gavin Sanders gets the run on. No. Gavin Sanders has actually lost the position. He's lost 2 of them. Tanner DeFabis still trying to get used to a few things with the cameras and with my displays and all that. Chilcutt leads away here as everyone's scrambling behind there. Caleb Bensi up 4 positions up into 2nd place right now. He is now ahead of Tanner DeFabis. Great start by the number 1.
Defending series champion, 2-time series champion. Fairbarn is in. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Bensi's going to have to put up a pretty stiff defense on that title here with all the talent we got on display, but that was going to be the case in any case this season.
That's Fairbarn in 3rd. Gavin Sanders now 4th. Logan Spath in 5th. So the Stowe Alliance is running pretty good up front. Will Weiser back in 6th.
Yeah, I think I saw Zachary Smith really running into trouble there near the top of the Schumacher S's there. and lost a ton of positions here, but it's Alex Chilcutt around the final corner for the first time. 38 to go, and Chilcutt leads the first lap of the season. Caleb Bensi up to second. Very good run. Jeremy Fairburn with also with a strong start, up into third place from ninth. Fantastic.
All right, so we have some situations already out of the race. We got Miglin on pit road. We got Goyette on pit road. We got Zach Flaum, one of the admins here. He is currently on pit road. Also on pit road, Logan Edwards, Tommy Raval, the amateur champion from a season ago. Kyle Mundell on pit road. Gabriel Aslin on pit road. And Griffin Yellen, I believe, has withdrawn.
Oh, so already not a strong start for quite a few big names out there. And they are out early, but Alex Chilcutt leads away by about 7/10 at the line there. Bensi leading Fairburn, Sanders, and Logan Spath on the top 5 there. Will Weiser lost a couple of spots there on the start in the 00. Now feeling the pressure from Kevin Tomba from Switzerland in the 48. They make their way into the chicane for the second time here. Alex Chilcutt hard over those curves there. They're really tricky to get right. As everyone getting themselves into order here. Meanwhile, looking behind, Kevin Bonomi putting the pressure on Blaze Aldrich for 8th position back here. Bonomi up 1 spot so far from the start, as Chilcutt extends the lead to 1 second. And Bonomi back down to 10th place now. That's as the battle with Nate Siefker, I should say. Blaze Aldrich has gotten around Nate Siefker.
Former series champion.
Former series champion in his own right here. Off to a good start in his own right as well. Up 5 positions from 14th to 9th. Very good and methodical start, as one would expect from him.
And a name you mentioned at the start of the race, your biggest gainer on the grid right now, Hunter Ingrave, up 12 spots to 21st.
Can't say I'm entirely shocked there. Hunter Ingrave, that qualifying time did not look indicative of the performances we expect of him. He's starting out this race on the hard compound tire this go-around. Probably a solid start there, getting a long run in at the start of the race, and then sprinting later on in the going. And I'm having a look. Not too sure what the tire situation these drivers have been experiencing, but so far most of the leaders are starting on the soft red sidewall, soft compound tire.
Yeah, and I'm circling right now on our tree. There you see the first 5 on the in the order right now are on the softer of the 2 compounds. That's what we call the alternate tire, or the red tire. They have red sidewalls on them. The first and currently the lead car in the prime tire class, and I'll start circling them right here, is the next 5 actually. Starting with Will Weiser, Tomba, Andrich, Siefker, and Bonimi. They're on the harder of the 2 compounds. So at some point here in the first part of this stint, or the last part of this stint, these guys that are on these set of tires right here, they are going to start catching this group up here. And
looking at DeFabis battling with Sebastian Gianni going through turn 1 here. DeFabis trying to take around the outside in turn 2, and does so. So DeFabis was the big loser at the start of the race, starting second, all the way down now to 11th.
Down 9. And so with these guys that are on the black tires, they are going to, or the prime tires, they're going to be closing this gap later in this run as the red sidewall tires start to give way. And one more time, just to kind of give you an update of the track conditions, we'll move the map here. We'll bring in the weather. There you see 77 on the track temp, 866 on the ambient. So I'm thinking really that the Reds aren't going to get torn up very much, because it doesn't look like the track conditions are calling for a lot of degradation on the Reds.
That's what it's suggesting to me as well, looking at that. And it seems like a healthy mix of drivers going between the softs and the hards, with the front runners mostly sticking with soft tires, but still some of the top 10 going with hards. So there seems to be an interesting diversity of strategy out there, from simply just not expecting the tires to be and to have as big a fall off there. And it's kind of an expected pattern in that sense, with the front runners trying to gain a bit of a lead there as Tanner DeFabis gets really close to the back of Kevin Bonomi, going to the NGK chicane near the end of the lap here, right up on his gearbox into the final corner. Trying to get that run down the front stretch and into turn 1 again. Ooh, big blink there by DeFabis, but he pulls up right up alongside the 75.
Here it is.
And this will likely get him into the top 10. And he does.
That's a little bit of a rapid drop there at the turn 1 exit. I could expect to see maybe some, especially later in the run with these cars on the more worn tires, getting a little light through there.
Yeah, I've had that experience as well driving this car here at the Nürburgring. It's really easy, especially with degraded tires, to misplace your brake point, lock up a wheel, and just overall feel very uncomfortable through that corner. It's really easy to get wrong, tricky to get right, and it's one of the things that makes the Nürburgring such an interesting track for so many drivers, even after years of doing it.
Hey, tonight's coverage is sponsored by Sim Racing Warehouse. Look to take your sim racing setup to the next level. Are you looking to do that? Well, check out Sim Racing Warehouse. From high-quality wheels and pedals to accessories that bring the track right to your home. As we got a battle for position here as I read the ad read. They got everything you need to race harder, faster, and smarter. All the links you need are in the description. Check out Sim Racing Warehouse.
Sebastian Gianni in the 25 just lost it at the top of the Schumacher S's, slammed the wall hard. He is done. That was a rough one.
Yeah, I got to go back and find that here real quick while we are in the middle of the ad read. It always happens right in the middle of the ad read. Every single time. Every single time. Never fears, yeah. Okay, so let's check this out. We'll watch Gianni here in the this red and white striped car, and we'll see what happened.
Little bit loose going through the first S, and then it snaps on him.
And a death twitch. He just hit a little too much of the curb, and then right to the inside. Boom.
He fought the death wiggle, and he did not win that time. Sorry, Sebastian.
Meanwhile, back up front, your leader still is Chilcutt. In his first ever start in the series, right behind him, defending series champion Caleb Binsey. Inaugural series champion Gavin Sanders is in third, Fairbairn in fourth, and Logan Spath in fifth.
Gavin Sanders just got around Fairbairn earlier on in the lap, getting up into third.
Also a little bit further back, Will Weiser, one of the participants that we saw in the IIS. He currently is now racing for Mansky Racing. He is in sixth spot, Thomas seventh, Andrich with Rogue Racing in eighth, DeFabis in ninth, and Nate Seifert with Team Watson Racing setups in P10.
I'm definitely keeping an eye on DeFabis, especially like I'm looking right now. He's all over the gearbox of Blaze Andrich in the battle for eighth. Looking to the outside now to that fast right-hander, but now he's going to be on the inside for the first part of the chicane and clears him handily. Oh, as Nate Seifert almost runs up the back of Blaze Andrich as well.
He saw an opportunity there to get as close as possible.
Yeah, just kind of rattle his cage a little bit, as they say. But Blaze Andrich losing out on that spot to Tanner DeFabis. DeFabis back up to eighth after suffering hard at the start of the race, but making up for it in space right now.
Inside, here comes Seifert, and he just sends it on him.
Just completely sent it. He was totally confident in what the car was going to do, and he clears Blaze Andrich. That is P9 for Nate Seifert.
Hey, if you enjoy the coverage of the Formula Indy Series and you respect the stream, please do us a solid. Make sure you support us by subscribing. And while you're at it, don't forget to smash like and click the bell so you miss out on future P1 iRacing broadcasts. And we have lots of them.
Oh, yes, we do. And it's good to be back for at least some of them. It's just my time's been really busy as of late, but it's always great to get the chance. Yeah, the working man for sure, including on another YouTube channel. And I have been having a ball with that. But it's always great to be back here watching my favorite sport do its thing and my favorite esport do its thing.
All
Looking
right.
a little further back,
Yeah.
the middle of the top 15, Dan Piazza coming under pressure from Matthew Short.
Principal Dan is back.
Great to see him around in that old dog's livery. Principal Dan is going to have another established face of the series, Matthew Short, all over his gearbox. Different tire strategies here from these two. And Piazza up one spot from his start.
Matthew Short. Matthew Short. He's got it back underneath him, but he lost all that momentum, and Sophie and Joey got around, so he fell back 2 spots. So Principal Dan gets a bit of a reprieve.
Yeah, well, could have been a lot worse for Matthew Short there, but I'll chalk that up to commentator's curse on that one. Sorry, Matthew. But yeah, that's a couple of spots lost. Sophia Connell and Joey Selmans up to 13th and 14th respectively, and now they're going to take a stab at putting the pressure on Principal Dan, who doesn't tend to be is definitely not one of the most flappable drivers out there, to put it one way.
And Principal Dan has 2 career wins here in the Formula Indy Series, so he is no slouch. Anytime you can get a win in this series, you know you really are competing and beating against some of the best IR18 pilots, at least on road courses this service has to offer. But there is Principal Dan. Right behind him is Sophie O'Connell. Sophie, she running for Taylor Mills Racing here, has contributed to our channel a little bit with some IIS track guides. Check some of those out. They're on the channel.
Absolutely fantastic to get as much info as we possibly can from the driver's perspective, and Sophia Connell has delivered that in spades. And now going to try and I guess return the favor on the show and try and put the pressure on everyone else ahead of her. Making up some time, it looks like a little bit on Piazza.
And we got a car on pit road. Gavin Sanders, pit road, scheduled stop.
Kind of an early stop here for Gavin Sanders. The end of lap number 8. Beginning lap 9, up on the jacks he goes from 3rd place, switching over to the black tires, switching over to the hard compound, down and away, and back out towards the end of the pit road there. So it was really easy for him to accelerate.
7.1 seconds in the box there. So I think his strategy.
Ooh, big wheel hop there for Gavin Sanders. In turn 1, in fact, there he went way up over the curb and bounced around there. He gathered it up right ahead of trying to make out
the 70. That's Zach Smith.
Yeah, Zach Smith. Right ahead of him there. Zach was probably like, "Oh boy, don't wreck me."
I think Matthew Short also.
I
think Matthew Short also hit pit road as well.
Yeah, it looks like we got some early takers here from drivers that started off on the red sidewall tires. Chillicott and Bensi not among them as of yet. Neither is Jeremy Fairburn, who's now up into 3rd position. So these guys got to be thinking to themselves, how's the car feeling right now? Oh, and Chillicott bouncing big time over the curves in the chicane. Staying out for another lap, though. So Alex Chillicott feeling confident there. And Caleb Bensi is the next one to bite. He is coming on the pit road, too. So Bensi, I would imagine, might also be switching to hards, but we're early on in the race enough that you could switch to reds as well.
Logan Spath, I think, is also on pit road.
Indeed, he is. Logan Spath. Bensi's teammate has brought it in. Bensi up on the jacks. Switching to hards this go around, and also for Spath, following suit. So Logan Spath will be switching to hards as well. Bensi down and away next to Joey Selmans. One of his teammates at Stowe, and his teammate graciously gives him the space he needs. So a lot of the early takers on soft tires switching to reds at about the 1/4 mark of the race. So these guys most seem to be switching to soft, hard, soft for much of the front runners here. That seems to be the game plan I would expect of them.
Oh. And there is, right behind him, Gavin Sanders sending it on through.
Sanders getting around Joey Selmans as well. Once again, right up on the gearbox of his old friend and rival, Caleb Bensi. These two have been These two have been friends and rivals for years. Kind of your Tony Kanaan, Elio Castroneves kind of relationship, I guess one could argue. Though I think a lot can be said for quite a few driver pairs here. These guys have raced with each other for years. They're great friends off the track, but great rivals on it. Sanders tries to stick his nose in. Hey! Tries to stick the nose in there, not quite doing. Now right up on the gearbox to the fast right. Sanders gonna look to the inside there. Side by side there, Sanders gonna have a nose and clears him. And Bensi yields. So Gavin Sanders back up into what will effectively be second position if everything evens, with all things being even. The Chillicotts staying out for one more go. Jeremy Fairburn coming off a pit road now. So another one of the top drivers making his stop too, also on hards. And Fairburn loses out to Sanders, but does clear.
Not yet.
Almost clear. There goes Bensi, dives it down the inside. Beautiful move. Caleb Bensi on the warmer hard tires. He gets the job done. Back up into effective P3.
Chilcutt still your leader. We're expecting a pit stop from Chilcutt here soon. We're on lap 11 of 39. Anytime for him. Will Weiser now up to second. Tomba in third. DeFabus in fourth now. Seeker in fifth. Again, all these drivers, the entire top nine still needs to stop.
Yeah, and Chilcutt seems to be really keeping it smooth so far. I mean, when you're out in front and setting out a good pace like this, you tend to be pretty comfortable with how the car feels. You don't tend to drive it way too hard and kill the tires. So Chilcutt looking very smooth at the moment. Coming up to the line at the ending lap number 11 on this go around, and still in the high 1 minute 40 range. Low 39s, high 40s seems to be the laps that he is turning. And I'm having a look back at the lap times that Gavin Sanders, Caleb Bensi and company have been doing, and they seem to be fairly even at this point. Chilcutt seems to be that tad bit more consistent. As we're keeping an eye on the pit stop situation there, Bensi still close to Gavin Sanders for what will effectively be a podium position if once everything sorts itself out here. And everyone else getting their affairs in order here. Kyle Clemworth, I should note, also up more spots from 27th to 17th as it stands. Clendy, our old friend, of course. Gotta give him a shout out as well.
Given the given the old road series a try. This is a kind of new for him. Certainly the standing starts are new, but he is putting in the effort and is slowly starting to make the ascent into, kind of being. Admittedly, he was kind of a back marker in his very early road races. Now he's kind of a mid-pack guy and is just making progress. And currently, right now, 17th. Started 27th, up 10 spots. Hunter Ingrave, his teammate, up 18 spots. Logan Spath has fallen through the order a little bit. He's down in 16th spot right now. But I suspect that he'll go up in the order when some of these guys, Clindy has not stopped, Ingrave has not stopped, Dan Marrera, former amateur champion, has not stopped, Zach Smith. So he will come up through the order a little bit when some of those cars in front of him stop.
Yeah, he came in a couple of laps prior, so he came around the same lap that Bensi came in. So I definitely expect that to change in a few laps' time when everyone else cycles through their first stops of the day. First of two that we expect for each of them, two scheduled at the very least. So these guys, and I also got to give definitely want to say as well, with the mix of tire strategies we got there, both Tanner DeFabus and Alex Chilcutt have been doing phenomenally well so far on these soft tires. DeFabus in particular, especially after that rough start, you would think that he would have to kill his tires to get up here, but it doesn't seem to have hurt him as much as one might expect. I'm looking at the last few laps consistently in the mid 140s, so they're definitely falling off from their prime, but you definitely had to fight your way through there and use up that rubber a little bit harder than you would if you were in someone in Alex Chilcutt's position, where you've essentially had clean air for pretty much the whole race.
Chilcutt making his first start in the series, trying to do what not very many have done in this series, get a win in their first start.
Is a rare occurrence, and it's always spectacular when it does happen. And Alex Chilcutt off to a fantastic start, and what I'm seeing on my training paints is a Team Penske livery.
I don't think it's on a team. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's not a Team Penske. It's Nexus Esports is what his team is on the side, but it does look like a something that a Team Penske would put on their car.
Yeah, it's not sure if my trading paints is out of date or anything, because I thought I refreshed it before we started this race, but you never know. Trading paints can do trading paints.
Trading paints,
really
yeah,
weird.
For sure.
Yeah, like weird things can happen.
So let's talk about drivers that have won in their first ever IndyCar starts. The first name that comes to mind for a lot of people is Nigel Mansell in his first start at Surfers Paradise. He won in his first start. Here's a name that you'll think of as getting a win in his first start. How about Buzz Calkins?
Oh yeah, the first race of the IRL.
Indy Racing League at Walt Disney World Speedway.
At Walt Disneyland. And Walt Disney World, I should say.
Yeah.
Not California, the one in Florida. Track that it's always sad to see a track go, but I guess they needed that more parking space, which always frustrates me.
They needed the parking space for the employees, because I think they're using the employees' parking spot there. But if LGN is listening on the in the feed at all, he and I went through before, and we cataloged drivers that had a first win in their first IndyCar start, and there's not an awful lot of them. Not an awful lot of them, as you would imagine.
Yeah, for sure.
Robert Wickens was almost one at one point.
Almost. Like, I remember that one vividly back in 2018. It was so close, and I was probably one of the few people in the U.S. who knew of Robert Wickens from his time in the DTM series in Germany, funnily enough, since we're here at the Nürburgring. I was one of the people that knew of him. I knew the guy was good, but he was spectacular. And that first race is, Alex Chilcutt making progress on some lap traffic here. That was the 10 machine of Gabriel Aslan he had to negotiate with, and kind of aggressive negotiations, I guess you could say. A few Star Wars fans will know what I'm saying with that one, though not quite in the same way. But Chilcutt still on a roll, about a 13-second lead now over Weiser. But yeah, back to what we were saying. But yeah, I was one of the people that knew of Robert Wickens from his time in the DTM series. He was always really, really talented. That race at St. Pete really showed what he was capable of, and it's just horrible the way fate conspired against him at Pocono that same year, which I was actually at. I was at that race that day, and that was absolutely brutal to see. I was glad that it didn't go the way of 2015, but still, it's absolutely a shame to see such an incredibly talented driver have effectively his IndyCar career cut so short. He's made a great recovery since then. I gotta commend him big time, and he's done some great stuff in touring cars and sports cars, but you just are left wondering what if in so many ways, especially for, frankly, such a cool guy. He was one of the nicest guys you could think of, I think. You could say that for a lot of IndyCar drivers, I think, but Wickens was definitely one of them. And he still is.
All right. Well, we are now lap 16 of 39. Thanks for joining us, everybody. If you are just joining us, this is coverage of the Formula Indy Series coming to you from the Nürburgring, where we've completed now 16 of 39 laps for scheduled 39 laps. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash like and subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. The next race for the Formula Indy Series will be round 2 next week when we visit Auto Club Speedway in Fontana for the first time since Season 2 in 2021. Start time will be 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't miss it. IndyCars at Fontana are normally a combo you just really don't want to miss.
Absolutely. Fontana in an IndyCar is always a show, and I think everyone loves it. Even the people that love road racing, they love. It's always a great time. Be sure to check it out.
And we got Sarah Guerrera in the Mosaic Red livery ahead of Matthew Short and Capalucci. And they are catching up to Clindy here. Yeah.
DeFavis coming on to pit road for his first stop. End of lap number 16 here. Very long run on the Reds. Got pretty good life out of them and made a lot of positions up after a poor start. Gonna be interesting to see. Likely be switching to hards on this one. Comes down to his box. Very brisk pace at that. And switches over to the hard compound as we expected.
And we see another one of the Eclipse cars hitting pit road.
Having a look here.
Actually, yeah, that's not an Eclipse car. That's Sophie. Sophie's in a very similar looking livery, but that is Taylor Mills Racing. Yep.
Yep, Sophia Connell, down and away she goes, back out into the fray. A very consistent race, I'd say, for Sophia tonight. It's been quiet but effective. And that's a great way of starting off any campaign, I think. Quiet but effective.
Hey, when you're in a lineup that features 34 cars, getting a top 15 is pretty darn good considering the size of the field. Getting a top 10 is pretty exceptional, and right now that top 10 is Chilcutt, who is our leader. Weiser, we're watching right now, is in second. Tomba is in third. We'll go to Chilcutt on pit road as we see through the safety glass of the starter stand there.
And Weiser and Tomba also coming in behind Chilcutt. All the way down to the very end of a, frankly, long pit road. It needs to be for the Nürburgring 24-hour race that's held here every year. And you still need to share garage space. But down off the jacks is Chilcutt. It's kind of a slow go there, topping off the tank as much as he can, but sticking with the soft tire on this second stint. Going to save a brief stint to the end for the hards. Interesting call there, but it's definitely going to be leading to some very quick laps in the next little while there and some very fast lap times. He seems very confident on the soft tire tonight. Siefker, bit of a bobble there, but let's one of the Team Stowe cars, that is the 3 of Logan Spath, getting around him. Kind of like a bobbling moment there. But gathers it up, though. But even still now, under pressure from one of the Eclipse cars, and I believe that is Tanner DeFavis, and now he's down to the inside.
He wanted that position. He just dove it in there. He's like, I'm taking it full send.
Yep, just take it out from right under Nate Siefker. Bold play, but it worked for Tanner DeFavis. Very fast run tonight indeed. DeFavis on the hards on this, likely going to be a longer stint than the last go-around. And now next in line is Logan Spath, as DeFavis once again working his way back up into the top 10 again. As coming up to the line, Blaze Andrich will be leading this lap ahead of Alex Chilcutt, only about 3 seconds in arrear. So Chilcutt wins tonight. He won't lead every lap.
Yeah, Blaze has not
stopped yet. That's true. He's going out as long as he can on the hard tire, I should know. So he is stretching this one as long as he possibly can. At this rate, I'd imagine that if we are going to see 2 stops out of the 91 machine tonight, it's going to be soft and soft from here on out. But he's going to go long enough that he can make this a one-stopper.
Yeah, someone's going to attempt someone's going to try to attempt it. Let's see, what do we need to get to? We need to get 19 and a half, so he's there. He's there now.
He is there now. Like, this is lap 19, folks. So really, like, one more lap would guarantee it for certain. Other than that, like, you would just have to run a lower fuel map setting and just run a bit of an easier pace just to save the fuel you can. But you could definitely jump a few cars that would have to pit twice. As now running right up on the gearbox of Gabriel Aslan side by side. Or Tommy Raval, I should say. That's Tommy Raval on the 27. As Andrich clears him. Does he come in this go-around? Yes, he does. So maybe a little bit of fuel save would be needed, but Blaze Andrich is within the ballpark of being able to get home on this next set of tires and this tank of fuel, as Chilcutt retakes the lead. And Andrich coasting to his box. Up on the jacks, likely switching to softs on this go-around. Yes, he does. As Sanders, Bensi, Fairburn, all the others, Will Weiser. Ooh, side by side between Weiser and Fairburn. Fairburn under big pressure there as Weiser dives into the inside on the soft tire. And he's got the grip to work with. He clears him, coming out of 2 into 3. So Will Weiser off to a very good start.
Here is that pass right there. Also do want to describe, for those that haven't watched a lot of road racing here on the channel, the tree on the left, you'll see names lighting up push the pass. P2P in the green, that means they are on the push the pass button. So they have 200 seconds of push the pass. They can use it to push the pass or push to defend. And they will use it in both manners. And actually, the more you use the button, the more it impacts your fuel mileage, Steven. So you don't want to use it too much. But we could track that stat here for you. And here is the push to pass remaining.
Just use not much.
Here's the push to pass remaining for our field. Chilcutt has not used that button very much. 169 seconds remaining. Sanders at 103. Bensi at 143. Weiser at 160. Fairbairn, excuse me, is under the limit now, so he's used more than half of it at the halfway point. He's on the button. Not right now. He's at 87%. Tomba 180. Seifer 109. Spath 156. DeFavis 120. Ingrave hasn't even touched the button. He's in 10th spot, and he's up 23 spots.
Yeah, that's like in a lot of cases with that in Engraf's position, you don't really need to. You just pick him off with sheer pace.
Andrich too, and I don't think Andrich could afford to use the button if he's trying to one-stopper.
I don't think he can at this point. Meanwhile, someone who can afford to do it and dives on the inside of Logan Spath is Tanner DeFavis. Brilliant move there, very close. Spath tries to come back in turn 2, but to no avail. Tanner DeFavis, bold move, but he made it work.
Look at those rotors light up as he just sends it on in there and scoots up the racetrack. And Logan had no choice to give him the room.
Yeah, those brakes were glowing like the jet engines on a plane about to take off from an aircraft carrier. That was amazing. DeFavis just got it in right on the edge of control. Beautifully done. And now next in line is Nate Siefker. And Siefker's in a battle of his own with a lap car. That is the 55 of Hayden Herman. Siefker clears him, though. Bit of aggressive defense there from Hayden Herman. A bit ambitious, but ultimately nothing bad came of it. Meanwhile, it's Chilcutt leads the way. The end of lap 21. Fastest lap.
Purple lap. Wow.
139.154. Brilliant lap for Alex Chilcutt. By far the fastest we've seen. We've seen very few low 139s this race. For reference here, for people that have watched races at the Nürburgring, you're wondering how this compares to Formula 1 lap times. Of course, Formula 1's going to blow us out of the water here. For a race lap record, that was set by Max Verstappen in 2020. The 2020 the Luxembourg. It wasn't the Luxembourg Grand Prix they called it. It was one of those weird 2020 races where, hey, we go back to the Nürburgring again. That was a 128.139, so 11 seconds faster than the fastest lap that Chilcutt has put down there. Of course, comparing a Formula One car, especially a Formula One car in 2020, to an IndyCar is not really the most direct comparison to make. Of course, Formula One is going to be quite a bit quicker, but IndyCar is no slouch either, and it's really showing here tonight as Chilcutt running right up on the edge of adhesion there. Very respectable laps.
I think one of the drivers over there said that when he got a chance to test an IndyCar, he found it surprisingly very challenging.
Yeah, that's kind of the consensus I found too, especially since IndyCars don't tend to be a bit more raw, I guess you could say, than an F1 car could be. Less downforce to work with generally, even in the high downforce configurations, and a lot of grunt compared to an F1 car, especially coming out of low speed corners. At least that's what I've done comparing F1 cars to Indy cars in the iRacing sense. And especially with the lack of power steering as well, these cars really test a driver's stamina and endurance and their skill. And I should note, the 2020 race was the Eifel Grand Prix. That was what they call it, named after the frankly beautiful Eifel Mountains here in the far west of Germany, where this track is, in the village of Nürburgring in the Rhineland. But Chilcutt now up to nearly an 11-second lead, over an 11-second lead at this point. And on the soft tires, that is likely to be extended on this last run here. So Alex Chilcutt looking very confident right now. A fantastic debut to such a challenging series to compete in, but he has taken it in stride.
And we are watching him as he is just moving through this field, and wow, I mean, just bouncing and popping these curves.
Oh yeah, and one that got caught out by the curbs looks like was Kyle Mundell in the 34. Just lost it going through the NGK chicane at the end of the lap here. Looks like maybe not so much the curb, but just the back end got out away from him. No one around him there to force that. Just unfortunate little brake lock up there, and now Mundell on pit road.
I think it was Lando Norris who said that when he tested an IndyCar, of course, McLaren has an IndyCar team. He said he found it remarkably very challenging, and I think he was actually kind of defending maybe even his fellow teammates over on the IndyCar side, when a lot of the fans are like, this is like a step down. Every Formula One driver should get in these things and just dominate. That's really not the case with these cars.
Absolutely not. I mean, we're definitely not in the days when Nigel Mansell could come out fresh from winning a Formula One World Championship the previous year and just crush the competition on the ovals the next year in IndyCars and nearly win the Indy 500 in the process.
He got schooled. He got schooled a little bit there on that for that 500, though.
He absolutely did.
He got schooled by a former Formula One champion and an oval specialist in that race.
Yep, and of course the former champion we're talking about was Fittipaldi.
Yeah, Emerson Fittipaldi, and this was a year not too far after his first win. Arie Luyendyk was kind of just an oval veteran, an oval specialist at that time, and he got the drop on him too on that last restart. Quite funny, I think.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, and then and already the guy was known for running
car
at the
around.
time.
I'm not sure who it was. Wimler around.
Okay, what has happened to Brandon Wimler?
This is around turn 13, turn 12, 11.
Ooh, yeah, and looks like the Schumacher S's, I think, may have claimed another victim.
Gavin Sanders,
really
scheduled stop. Last stop of the race for Gavin Sanders, coming to pit road right now.
So Sanders in. Soft tires, I would imagine. The softs seem to be the preferred ones here tonight, especially with the pace they're providing. No, he's going with hard tires, it looks like. So Gavin Sanders sticking with hard compounds here. Of course, Gavin did pit earlier than some other drivers here early on in this race. He came in at the end of lap number 8. So it would make sense for consistency, especially if you're worried if the soft tire is going to fall off later on in the going. So Sanders sticking with hards at the end of this race.
And once again, I'd like to remind everybody, tonight's coverage is brought to you by the Sim Racing Warehouse. Looking to get your sim racing set up to the next level? Check out Sim Racing Warehouse. From high-quality wheels and pedals to accessories that bring the track right to your home. They got everything you need to race harder, faster, and smarter. Also, check out in the description. They have a coupon code, and we'll tell you all about the guys from Sim. If you're looking to save money with great prices and no sales tax, Sim Racing Warehouse is your U.S.-based shop for all your needs. Plus, for a limited time, you can save with a $5 or 5% off coupon. Just type in SRW House. SRW House in the coupon code section on checkout and save even more. Go to simracingwh.com. Everything you need, everything I just talked about, is in the description, and you can save an additional 5% off your purchase at Sim Racing Warehouse. Check them out.
Philip Bensey in for his last stop, as you were saying, up on the jack, switching to soft tires this go around. So Bensey seems to be a bit confident on the softs there. Just get the hard tire out of the way and now lay down the pace.
Yeah.
Can Caleb Bensey catch him? That's going to be the big question of all, as Gavin Sanders clears him round the outside in turn 1 there, but Bensey going to have fresh rubber, going to take a little bit to warm up, but he is going to have softer compound tires, more grip to work with.
Well, and they need to get around Andrich because he's not stopping. He's done.
Yeah, this is the thing. Blaze Andrich doesn't have to come in again. He switched tires and he went long enough that he just keeps sipping fuel a little bit, just being a little bit sparing with the throttle pedal every now and then. He's going to make it to the end here. So the question of Sanders, there he goes. Oh, nearly a hip check there, but Blaze Andrich still holding it side by side through the hairpin, up to the Schumacher S's, and still wheel the wheel. Very close, beating and banging almost. Gavin Sanders checked him again. Bit unwieldy there as Gavin Sanders blinks.
Gavin Sanders is gone.
Oh, he's reappeared right inside of Blaze Andrich's car. Gets away from him there, but Gavin Sanders clears him. Ghost pass move. Oh my goodness.
Let's go back and watch that. So let's watch this again. So here we watch him banging wheels, and then right about here it's just boom, gone.
Again.
But watch this when he reappears. This is lucky. This could have turned into something catastrophic for both these drivers, because this is like the worst transporter accident in Star Trek right here. Materializing on top of somebody. Look at that. Netco did not take over. That is amazing.
That was very lucky that Netco didn't punish both of them for that. That could have been a horrific accident for both of them and taken them out of the race there. iRacing's netcode can be very unforgiving, but it was sparing that go around. Not to Blaze Andrich's positions, mind you. He has lost positions to both Gavin Sanders and Caleb Bensey at this point, but it could have been a lot worse, folks. So now Bensey has got Gavin Sanders still ahead of him here on the harder tire. So Bensey's got to make hay at this point and get this position back while he still can. Big twitch there from Gavin Sanders coming out of the hairpin there. And uphill. Going through the S's here. Very fast, like somewhat fast series of S curves here. Not quite as fast as the Schumacher through there. And I always, and one thing I always am reminded of was the time I went here back in 2011. I had seats here in turn 1. You had a view both of turn 1, but you could also see that chicane from that spot of the track pretty easily. And when I was there in 2011, both Sebastian Vettel and Michael Schumacher both had spins there during the race.
Oh, here comes Caleb on the outside of Gavin Sanders down the main straight on the button. There you see both lit up, push the pass, coming into turn one, and they have a slower car in front of them. Unfortunately, that is Gabe Aslan.
Oh, Aslan doesn't want to be any part of that.
He does not want to be part of that right now. He's like, oh no, I got two guys in the top 10 that's actually going to fight for a podium finish right in front of me. Yeah, I was like, I got to get out of the way.
Yeah, and Sanders holds on to the spot brilliantly there. Like you said, push to pass is also push to defend, because you can pick and choose wherever you want to use that to defend your position. And like, if you suspect the guy behind you is on push to pass, you're going to be wanting to use it too, because it's a good amount of engine boost there. But like we said earlier, it does take a toll on fuel. It's not going to be a problem for these guys. They got enough fuel to go. But for someone like Blaze Andrich, we mentioned earlier, who's going to be taking it on one stop, he is going to refuse to touch that button like a kid refusing to eat vegetables. But Bensi now getting closer and closer still, keeping a close eye on this one. I should note that ahead of them as well is Tanner DeFabis, about 10 seconds up the road from Gavin Sanders at this point. And DeFabis, of course, came in on lap 17, so it's possible he could make it on one go if he's really conservative on fuel throughout the rest of this race, but it's going to be a big ask, I think, for DeFabis at this point. Oh, looking again. Sanders tries to send it down the inside again. Bensi sent it there on Gavin Sanders. Not quite doing it this time. Can he get the cut back through turn two? He's going to have a peek there. He's got his nose. Side by side. And Bensi's going to be on the outside for the right-hander there. Not quite. Can he get the run, though? Back and forth, back and forth. These guys are not letting up here. Bensi's not letting up on the fresh tires there, and Sanders is not giving up this position easy.
Oh, and further back, Dan Piazza is all over. Principal Dan is showing some punishment to Seifer right now.
Oh, what did Seifer do this time to get him into trouble? Well, he's holding up Principal Dan Piazza. And not quite getting the position just yet, but Piazza running just as quick, if not a little bit quicker, than shoot.
We got Seifert, and then we got Principal Dan and Sophie
Seifert,
Connell in there.
Yeah, and Connell starting to make her presence felt in this fight. The interested spectator, it would seem, this early on in the fight here.
Here comes Sophie.
Looking at what Piazza's trying to do with Seifer right now, and Seifer, did Seifer stop recently, I wonder?
Yes, he did. Yes, he is on his outlap. Yeah, he's on his outlap now, actually.
Yeah, so he's getting those tires up to temp there, and he had to hold off Piazza for all he was worth. And now starting to get more into the swing of things. Meanwhile, ahead of him, Jeremy Fairbairn makes a move on a lap car there. Running in ninth place. He started ninth, currently ninth.
That is Clindy. Clindy is, where is Clindy? He is down in 24th. One lap down right now. So he's had a little bit of a rougher race as this has gone on. But he's still out there. The important thing is he's still out there and the wheels are turning.
Correct. Very much correct. And unfortunately, the same can't be said for Gabe Ogden, who has just disconnected from the server. So Gabe Ogden, running throughout the more of the middle rear of the pack throughout this race. Unfortunately, he is out of the going here. So keeping the car underneath you and keeping it straight and ready and straight and true at the checkered flag, that can get you some pretty strong positions, especially when people are fighting tooth and nail for positions. And sometimes that fight turns just a little bit more brutal than they would expect.
Logan Edwards, final stop complete. He is back underway. One of the winners of the Elite Racing League at their last road course race. Check us out tomorrow. As a matter of fact, myself and Luis Gonzalez Nunez of an Elite Racing Network at 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's Elite Racing Network channel. And that is the Warriors for Peace IndyCar Series, and when they go to Road America, and you'll be seeing Logan Edwards in the lineup for that as he won at their Portland race. Will Weiser, his teammate, goes purple that time by. And we got on pit road, Tomba on pit road for his final stop. But let's go through the field, Steven, and give everyone some due here. First of all, we got Chilcutt, who's pretty much dominated this day. He's got himself a 28-second lead with a car off in front of him. He got around it. That was Morera, unfortunately. Tanner DeFabis is second, so DeFabis has kind of really recovered from his rough start. He has now worked his way up to the second step of the podium. And then Will Weiser, the IIS Series regular, he is currently now on the bottom step of the podium. He is in third. And fourth is Gavin Sanders, our inaugural series champion, not too far behind Will Weiser. In fact, he might be able to catch him a little bit. We shall see. Caleb Benzie is in fifth, the defending series champion. Kevin Bonemi, a very quiet but a very consistent race for Kevin. Inside the top 10, P6 at the moment. There he is, running right in front of Blaze Andrich. Going on that one-stop strategy for Blaze. Currently seventh in the order. And then Jeremy Fairbarn in eighth. He is up into the top 10. Kevin Tomba just completed his final stop. Kevin is in ninth, and Nate Seifert completed just his final stop a couple laps ago in 10th. A little bit further down, we got Principal Dan in 11th, Connell in 12th, Logan Spath in 13th, Zach Smith 14th, Hunter Ingrave 15th, Matthew Short, Dan Morera, Capalucci, Selmans, Edwards, Guerrera, Asleen Clindy, Raval, Mundell, Wimler, and Labarge is the remainder of the 27 cars currently still out there running on this racetrack.
And I see both Piazza and Connell coming on the pit road for their final stops. So it shakes up the order a little bit there at the end. But Connell and Piazza were really getting into a tussle there. Connell getting a couple of wheels in the dirt, coming out of the left-hander going down the backstretch here, but these two coming in very close to each other. Up on the jacks they go. But meanwhile, looking at Kevin Tomba trying to hold off Nate Seifker and Logan Spath well behind them at this point. Seifker has just left him behind at this point, but Kevin Tomba, very good run for the Swiss driver, who I would hearken to say this would be essentially his home race within the series, being from Switzerland. And Germany, obviously not too terribly far away. Just a quick drive up the Autobahn or riding the train if you trust the timeliness of Deutsche Bahn to get you there. But
I thought they were timely. I don't know.
In Switzerland, yes. In Germany, no, not in the slightest.
You mean Germany? You mean in Germany? 9.
9. Oh yeah.
Chilcutt on pit road.
Chilcutt on pit road for his last stop. Puts on hard tires for the end of this race.
Canada Davis
and away.
Pit road final stop.
Final stop for DeFabis, and
he blinks out.
A blink there for Tanner. Still showing as on the track though, getting down pit road here. Just a little bit of a connection. But Gavin Sanders now battling out with, and it looks like Will Weiser also staying out as well, up into second place on the circuit. Gavin Sanders and Caleb Benzie still close together in this battle for effectively third place now. And Benzie really hasn't been able to make much of these soft tires to get around Sanders. I mean, obviously it was going to be a tough fight to begin with, but Sanders has held off the charge brilliantly. But I gotta say, Alex Chilcutt been doing phenomenal so far. Oh, car off there. Trying to see who that was. That was at the top of the Schumacher S's. Brandon Wimler in a lot of trouble. Looks like a damaged car he may be dealing with here. Is the driver of the 24 machine. Not too sure what happened here. looks like he actually lost it going through the Schumacher S and into the gravel trap he goes. So he was just fighting, getting gravel off his tires after that. But it's been a rough night so far for the 24 machine.
Sometimes you just need to get that first race, those first race jitters out of your system, get that first race under your belt there, and the rest of the season kind of will go a little bit more swimmingly. And speaking of the rest of the season, we have not talked about this at all. Here is your schedule for the rest of the season as we got 6 laps to go. We are at Nürburgring, then Auto Club, then we take some time off, go to Barber, then we go to Chicago Street Course. That is a very tough road course. Then Homestead, Miami, then Portland, then Zolder, then Gateway, then we'll go to Mexico City, which was our mystery track. They didn't give me a choice. I was going to make it hold on to that as long as possible, but the league went ahead and announced it. It's going to be Michigan City, whether you like it or not, Gary. So, and I don't think I will be actually broadcasting that one. That's going to be during the PRI Hoosier 500 week. So that might be Mark Murphy doing that race with you, Steven. But then we go to Brands Hatch. Yeah, Brands Hatch, Indianapolis, and then we're going to wrap up at Watkins Glen just after the new year. So you have a couple months of solid high-quality road course racing on the agenda coming up here on P1 with the Formula Indy Series, sponsored by Sim Racing Warehouse.
Yeah, so like we've had a history of spectacular seasons, and they all happen at great circuits. These guys do a really good job of choosing where they're going to run, what's going to be the most fun for the drivers, the most fun for the fans as well. And I think we're going to be in for a banger this season. It's already been a great start here in Germany. Big curb hop. I just saw that from Caleb Bensi. Again, trying to run down Gavin Sanders for third place right now. Will Weiser in second. Alex Chilcutt out to an 11-second lead. But this, I think, is going to be a fantastic season yet again. A Formula Indy Series has not failed me so far in terms of impressing with the events they got. And I don't expect them to let me down this go around. They just keep up in the ante. Is everyone getting themselves ready for the final stages of this race? We're well and truly in it now. And looking at Alex Chilcutt over an 11-second lead.
Oh, that is Wimler again, just having a rough day, as you mentioned.
Yeah, Wimler is really not having a good go of it tonight, and looks like just missed the corner there, going through turn number 5, and then completely missed 6. Downhill and gets it back underneath him there. But it's been a rough night so far for the 24 machine, as more of them getting around them. 2 laps down at this stage. Still keeping the car underneath him, though, trying to salvage whatever he possibly can out of it. There's a couple of other drivers that have had some struggles tonight. Your Kyle Mundells and your Gabriel Aslins, they have not been having a fun night tonight. And in fact, I just saw Aslin have a big lock up there through turn number 6. Going way wide there, didn't go in the gravel. But this track, I mean, like, we're not even running the full infamous configuration of the Nürburgring, both the GP circuit and the Nordschleife. But even this circuit gives a taste of why Sir Jackie Stewart coined the nickname of this track, the Green Hell, and why it stuck with so many other people. This track it's a beautiful place, speaking from experience.
Pit road. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Bonemi on pit road, sorry.
And Kevin Bonomi coming in, final stop. Switching to softs for the final stint here. Was in 6th place. He's gonna set some Red Bull laps here with only 4 laps to go. Light tanks and sticky tires. Yep, he is gonna go for it. Kevin Bonomi, been very consistent all throughout the last few seasons, and getting himself more consistently in the top 10 conversation. And that looks to be showing here tonight. I believe Tomba's gone around him. Andrich, Siefker, DeFabus, not quite in the top 10 as of yet. Could possibly get up there, though. But it's going to be a big ask for sure. And then once again, it's showing that the Formula Indy Series has had unbelievable levels of competition and is just getting better and better as the series has continued its evolution. Alex Chilcutt coming to the end of lap 36. 3 to go.
Right in front of Chilcutt is Joey Selmans. He's in 20th spot, so Chilcutt has lapped up to the 20th position.
Been a very dominating performance. I guess you could easily say that for Alex Chilcutt. Pole position, led every lap except 1 or 2, I believe. I believe it was 1 lap that he hasn't led tonight during the pit stop cycle. Blaze Andrich actually took over the lead for a moment. He doesn't quite have the fastest lap yet. That's Will Weiser has that at the moment. I believe the only driver so far to run the 38s tonight, a 1:38.839. That's getting close to qualifying lap pace that we've been seeing here tonight. Unbelievable stuff. But Chilcutt really been laying the gauntlet down here, saying, hey, I may be new to the series, but I ain't new to the game. And is really throwing down a challenge to the rest of the field. Gonna be 2 laps to go this time around as Joey Selmans is the next driver to put a lap down there in 20th position for Alex Chilcutt. Hopping over the curbs. You got to be very confident with where you place your car going over those. But if there's one thing I can describe Chilcutt's performance tonight, it's been confident. He has been very confident tonight.
Hey, if you're just joining us, we are kind of in the final stages. In fact, we were just the last couple of laps here. You're watching coverage of round 1 of 12 of the Formula Indy Series coming to you from the Nürburgring, where Alex Chilcutt leads with now less than 2 laps to go. Thanks for joining us. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next race. The next race for us here on P1 will be this Friday. It'll be round 21 of the American Motorsports Association Archway Industrial Truck Series. And they visit New Hampshire. The AMA is our exclusive NASCAR League partner. Coverage starts at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time over right here on P1. Check it out this Friday. That's the next race for us here on the channel.
Should be a great show as always. League truck racing is always been great to see, especially for people that dedicate to it, and a damn sight better, I'd say, than a lot of racing I tend to see there. So these guys can definitely run the truck for all it's worth. But running it for all it's worth is definitely what I can say for Alex Chilcutt tonight. He has been sensational, maintaining an 11-second lead right now over Will Weiser in second place. Coming to the end of lap 38, the white flag will be in the air, and what a dominating debut. One of the most competitive series in the IndyCar series, in the IndyCar side of the iRacing community. This has been a fantastic showing for Alex Chilcutt, laying down the proverbial gauntlet. White flag in the air. And as we keep an eye there, Sanders still holding off Bensey. He's actually kind of gained a bit of a gap there over Caleb Bensey on this last lap here. Gavin Sanders in third, holding off would have been a fast-charging Caleb Bensey at the end of this race. And again, looking at one of the guys that is been staying out on a one-stop strategy, Blaze Andrich. He's going to be in 8th position at the moment, but I'm looking behind him. There is a very fast blue and white blur behind him, and it's carrying Tanner DeFabis. DeFabis is really catching him now, getting closer and closer and closer still. So Tanner, looking at lap times here, about a second faster was the number 5 machine over the 91 of Blaze Andrich. Is going to be very close at the end.
I think he's going to run out of time, to be honest with you. Chilcutt using the last of his push to pass.
Yeah, it's getting right down to the crunch. There's really only one, arguably two good places to try and make a move. But Alex Chilcutt out of the final chicane through the last corner. Welcome to the Formula Indy Series. Alex Chilcutt, he wins at the Nürburgring. Fantastic performance. Welcome to the party, Alex. A well-deserved win. Will Weiser from fourth on the grid to second place. Well done to the 00, and Gavin Sanders will round out the podium, holding off Caleb Bensi, the defending champion.
Go back to that
Jeremy
battle.
Fairbairn fifth. Tomba, Siefker, and Blaze Andrich through the last corner holds off Tanner DeFabis. Will get eighth, DeFabis ninth, and Logan Spath round the final corner. Getting around lap traffic, he will come home in 10th position.
Comes Hunter Ingrave just outside of the top 10. He's got Bonimi breathing down his attenuator right now.
And Hunter Ingrave from 33rd to 11th. Very good performance by Ingrave. That qualifying run was definitely not indicative of the performance he has.
Opie comes home in 13th. Principal Dan. A long day for Principal Dan. He's going to come home in 14th. Matthew Short holding off. Actually, that's not a battle for position, I don't think. But Short will come home in the top 15 despite spinning out, losing a bunch of spots. Dan Marrera going to come home in 17th, and he's going to be your second highest, I believe, your second highest amateur. So once again, Dan Marrera looking to go for his second amateur championship.
I think Hunter Ingrave, I think he ran out of fuel on the cooldown lap. I'm pretty sure some of them were running that tank pretty lean, especially drivers like Blaze Andrich. And everyone getting to the end here. And Alex Chilcutt lighting up those Firestones in front of the flag stand. Welcome to the series, Alex. What a well-deserved win.
Trying to find a good camera angle. Here we go. Here is the results of Race 1, Season 8. Chilcutt with the wins. Weiser in second. Gavin Sanders third. Caleb Bensi fourth. Fairborn in fifth. Toma sixth. Siefker seventh. Blaze Andrews on the one-stopper and out of fuel in eighth. DeFabis ninth. Logan Spath says, I'm willing to bet that Andrich had to use a little push to pass to keep DeFabis off.
Exactly.
Hunter Ingrave at 11th. He's your biggest gainer, and he will get the Luis Gonzalez Nunez Driver of the Day Award of 22 spots. Kevin Bonini in 12th. Sophia Connell in 13th. Principal Dan in 14th. Matthew Short 15th. Zach Smith in 16th. Dan Marrera, your lead, actually not lead amateur. Zachary Smith is your lead amateur. But Marrera now second in the amateur division. He finishes 17th. Logan Edwards 18th. Capalucci in 19th. And Joey Summit, the artist extraordinaire, in 20th. Clindy comes home in 21st. Guras comes home in 22nd. Mundell, if I remember right, Mundell was like a one-stopper guy last season as well. Mundell, 23rd. Reval, your defending amateur champion, in 24th. Asling in 25th. Wimler, 26th. Labarge, 27th. Then we have Ogden, Herman, Gianni, your top 30. And then we got Griffin Yellen, Zach Flaum, Goyette, Miglin, and Broadcaster. That was not me. That was not me. But I believe a lot of those... I think a lot of those guys had a turn one incident at the start, unfortunately. So it's just drop a week right off the bat. Yeah,
it's always unfortunate. The Nürburgring is not a track that tends to go easy on any first lap shenaniganry. And unfortunately for the likes of Dan Miglin and Griffin Yellen, claimed them early. But you live and learn. You move on to next week.
All right, so we're going to get into the interview room here real quick. We just need to queue up some replays, and we're going to talk with Gavin Sanders. Now, remember, Gavin's goal is to always do an interview because he knows he's in the points championship. If he is on the doing the interview. So we'll have to ask him how he's feeling about that goal.
If that's the measuring stick we're using, he's already off to a good start.
Yeah.
I'd say.
And we'll get a better, clear picture of his car here once we're just doing a replay of the start. Look at that back of it. That's a great screenshot right there. IndyCars all over the place.
Yeah, always a beautiful sight to see. Especially at a track as beautiful as this, let's be real.
All right. And let's get into the interview room here. We got some tired drivers. And I see an email, a DM already from Zach. So hopefully everything was done right.
Yeah.
But here is, and here he is. And here's Gavin Sanders. And Gavin, we were saying in the broadcast, remember your goal from last year was to just get up and get an interview for every race. And you're starting off season 8 on a pretty good foot, P3. But it wasn't as easy as maybe it has been in the past with some fresh blood back in this league. Chilcutt and Weiser made you guys all run for your money out there, but you brought it home third. Talk about your race. You definitely were on a bit of a different strategy. You were the first to kind of blink and come to pit road first.
Yeah, I think I botched it a bit, but managed to managed to train my way to the end and ensure that I stayed in a place for a podium. But yeah, it turns out the Reds were good. I didn't quite put it together, but that's okay. It was an interesting race and fun racing with Caleb and fun at the start when I could still see everybody. After that, it was kind of see you later. So figures that you shouldn't pit on lap 8 after pit halfway through the first red stint and ditch the Reds, never go back on them.
Hey, Steven, you got anything for Gavin?
Yeah, it led to kind of an interesting situation at the end of the race there in your battle with Caleb, where Caleb ran that final stint on the Reds, but you were able to hold them off pretty well on the blacks throughout pretty much that entire race there. I mean, Caleb gave you a run for your money as he always does, but eventually you held him off there. I guess he was just overcooked it maybe a little bit, or do you think that the blacks may have had something a little bit more in them than you would have expected?
I'm not quite sure. I think that knowing Caleb, like when we were battling, I assumed that he either overheated them or something happened because he had a lot of pace, and if everyone else was still flying and compared to me on the Reds, then something must have happened because he dropped back a little bit and then it kind of neutralized, and then that was that. So that was interesting, but yeah, maybe we took both of our tires out of it a bit when we were going at it after the pit stop. So that could potentially be it. But yeah, it was interesting. I'm thankful and glad to race with him, and glad that I was able to hold on to it. But of course, it was super fun, and as always, very clean, and that's all you can ask for, right? So.
Last question, and I want to get your thoughts on this. We watched your battle with Blaze Andrich, who was on a one-stopper, and he completed the one-stopper. You guys were at a pretty hard and tough racing portion there, and at one point you blinked out. I don't know if you knew this. You blinked out.
I most definitely knew it.
And all of a sudden, you reformed. You had like on the verge of a horrible Star Trek transporter incident where you reformed on top of his car, and luckily nothing happened.
Somehow, I guess iRacing gods realized that would have been a nightmare if I came back as a solid car.
Yeah.
So I merged inside of him and then proceeded to get out of there as quickly as I possibly could. But yeah, that was an interesting. That's crazy. He did. Oh, wow, one stop. Okay. Very interesting, and I kind of understand why there was so much racing going on then. That's respect though. That's crazy. But yeah, that was kind of a weird situation. I feel like I've been seeing a lot more packet loss after this update. And that's I have not been or I can tell that everyone else is not alone in that. I'm
Yeah.
also experiencing quite a lot of packet loss at random points. So I was hoping that I wouldn't get one in this race, but that was a pretty significant moment of probably like 6 to 9 seconds, 10 seconds of packet loss where I just disappeared. That was
Holding your breath and hoping that Netcode doesn't take over. Well, dodged a bullet, came home third. You know how this works. Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. I suppose there might be something you want us to play on Steam. I don't know, but go right ahead.
Beats me. Big thanks to Zach Flum, and I mean you guys, of course, for putting on an awesome broadcast, and him and the whole admin team for putting on a great series. But also we have new sponsors, title sponsors. So for everyone listening, the Sim Racing Warehouse is now partnered with Formula Indy Series, which is very cool. I'm sure Gary's talked about it already. But you can always just use the code SRW House in the coupon code section on checkout and save 5% off. Very cool, as well as the virtual racing school. So super cool to see people coming on board to support this already awesome IndyCar series. Buy Echo Blade on Steam. Okay.
Echo Blade on Steam.
I'm gonna buy Echo Blade on Steam. I'm sure Dakota would want you to. I'm sure like your parents would want you to. Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
Another podium finish for Gavin Sanders. Congratulations. We'll see you in a week. When it goes all different. It goes from this to Auto Club Speedway. So we'll see you in a week.
Jump.
I know.
Jump ever. Oh my god. See you guys.
See ya.
See ya.
We'll take him and drag him back down to the waiting room. Yeah, we go from twisty-turny European road course to North America Merca Super Speedway.
Yep. What a dichotomy, I'd say.
Let's bring in Will Weiser, and here he is. Will Weiser, welcome to the podium here, the Formula Indy Series. I was telling people that normally we see you here on the channel as a regular in the IIS, but making a visit over here to the Formula Indy Series, and your first start here got you a P2. With that Mansky Motorsports entry. But talk about your race and what was it like out there, and kind of talk about the difference between the IIS and the Formula Indy Series. What's different and what's alike? But talk about your race.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, I put quite a bit of practice into this, mostly because I had never run the track, but kind of wanted to take this league seriously because, there's not that many high-level road course majority leagues out there, so definitely wanted to put in enough practice. And as far as the race goes, I mean, didn't optimize qualifying just with I don't know, not wanting to get off tracks on this track are brutal, so
Yeah.
And
kind
confirm.
of just so kind of just wanted to put 2 solid laps down. I think it was optimal to kind of give up the first lap and go hard on the second. And then the third and fourth, I mean, you wouldn't have time to regrid or restart and get up the temperature and stuff. So yeah, kind of just settled with that. And then clearly, differences between IIS and this, the start.
Yeah.
I probably didn't put enough practice into that. And then clearly the minority when it came to starting on the blacks instead of the reds, which, kind of compounded my bad start. And then from there, I mean, just kind of sat in line and, kind of got stuck there for a little bit behind somebody, and just a little bit. And yeah, got around them, ran my race. And then clearly I got a little bit lucky. They're on different strategies, Gavin and Caleb, but if they didn't fight if they didn't race side by side for so long during the pit cycle, I would have had to at least pass them on track, which wouldn't have been easy. So kind of got fortunate with that, and yeah, just solid pace.
You got anything for us, Steven?
Yeah, and that's really just goes to show the kind of work you have to put in to be really competitive in a league like this, which we knew you were going to be pretty much from the word go, I think. And going into the next few races, I mean, obviously Auto Club kind of the odd duck out being an oval, but I imagine you're pretty confident for like being back up here on the regular throughout the season, do you think?
Yeah, hopefully, all the road courses I can compete at the front. And then the ovals, I'll have to get lucky or fuel save and, kind of play the alternate strategy maybe. But yeah, no, should be pretty competitive, hopefully.
Well, we got you here. Shout outs, friends, family, sponsors. Anyone want to say hi to before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out Luke Mansky and Logan Edwards for bringing me on to the team, and then Caleb Brashear, another guy on the team that we didn't plan it, but he ended up kind of crew chiefing both of me and Logan that race. So thanks to him as well. And then I had some family, my grandma, uncle, and dad watching, along with some friends. So shout out to them for hanging around and watching.
Well, it's good to have you in the league.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead. Finish it.
No, you're good. I was just saying thanks for streaming it for us.
Oh, no problem. It's this is one of and Steven can echo me on this. This is we've been doing this league since the start, and this is one of our favorite leagues by far that we do on the channel or over history that we've done. It's the level of competition here is so great, and when you win a race here or you podium in a race here, it's a real accomplishment. It's right up there on like you mentioned, IIS level, that type of thing. So yeah, we really enjoy doing this. It's good to see you here. It's good to see you part of doing some league races this year as well. So we hope to see you more. Congratulations, and we'll see you when we get to the big oval at Auto Club here in a week.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
And that is Will Weiser. Now we bring up Alex Chilcutt. And here is Alex. And then much like Mitch Welker did in his first start, much like Nigel Mansell did in his first start, much like Buzz Calkins did in his first start, gets a win in their first start here in league competition. First of all, Alex, I do a lot of IndyCar races. We do the Tuesday night Oval. We do the Monday night Indy Open Series. Do the IIS. All this time, and I haven't got a chance to run across you. Talk about your credentials a little bit, especially with the IR18, and then let's talk about this race, because from our point of view, it didn't look very hard at all for you.
Yeah, I'm very happy that this worked out. I really didn't know what to expect going into this because, as you alluded to, I have pretty much no experience with this car. So learning everything from zero here has been an experience. But what I love about this car, it basically combines NASCAR and prototypes into like this beautiful mix, and it's so much fun to drive.
Well, talk about
combo, I would say.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was going to follow up on that. What do you like about the NASCAR side of things, and talk about the prototypes? Where does the crossover occur?
So I actually started out racing on the road side. My team, Nexus Esports, was predominantly an oval team. So coming into that, I had the opportunity to try ovals on iRacing and realized, hey, you know what? This is a lot of fun. So taking all that experience in the road cars and spending a lot of time racing NASCAR. I love the truck. I love ARCA. I feel like that definitely helped me with this car because it's got a lot of power and a lot of downforce and no driver aids, which is something I really do enjoy.
Yeah, that's for sure. Talk about your race real quick, and then I'll do a handoff to Steven here to ask so he can ask a question. But talk about your race. First of all, doing a standing start, that's odd. I'm sure you don't have a lot of those, at least when it comes to running the IR18. This is kind of one of the unique things about this league. But talk about your race, really. Like I said, there wasn't a soul that could really touch you.
Yeah, it went pretty much to plan. I couldn't really draw it up better than that. In practice, I was looking at the one stop and was like, okay, well, maybe someone could do this, but it's probably like 2 or 3 seconds a lap slower. So I'm just going to go with the 2 stop. Ended up qualifying a lot better than I expected and just had to control it. So yeah, pretty smooth, pretty fun.
That's Steven.
Yeah. And the whole run, to me, it seemed to exude confidence. Like there was a lot of confidence in the car, a lot of confidence in like where you were placing it, and confidence in the strategy naturally. I get the sense that throughout this season, especially on the road courses, it looks like, though next week's going to be interesting because it's going to be an oval. We're going to be an auto. But it seems like you're going to be definitely one of the people in the conversation for podiums and wins week on week this season. I'm guessing there's a lot of confidence going forward.
Absolutely. For the road courses, I think I should be able to fight for those podiums. This result is definitely a confidence booster as well going in. On the oval side, yeah, I mean, I have experience in NASCAR, but I've never driven super high downforce on ovals. So just like the road was, this is going to be building from zero, and we'll see how well I can do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, I think, especially at Auto Club, where it tends to be quite the show, I think. So I think it's going to be fun for all of us.
Well, Alex, how this goes is when you get up to the top or any of the steps of the podium, especially if you win, we give you the microphone, do some shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors, anyone you want to say hi to, go right ahead. It is all yours for winning the opener here at the Nürburgring.
Mainly I'd like to shout out Joe Brickey, the CEO of Sim Racing Warehouse. I got to meet him at the Sim Gaming Expo last week, and super cool guy, and I really appreciate him sponsoring the series. So shout out to you, Joe B. And then, of course, shout out to my team Nexus and Lucas Lodato, who just got signed to WSR Butt Kicker. So he will be joining us next week.
We know Lucas. Good. All right. Well, congratulations on the win. Again, first start, first win. Can't start off any better than that. We'll see you when we get to the Oval at Auto Club next.
Thank you.
Well, and just like that, season 8, race 1, we started. Season 8, race 1 has now ended, and we're already into the season now, Steven. And we got some different names at the top, but also up in those different names, we got some familiar names that we're used to seeing in terms of former champions Sanders and Bensi and Siefker all in the top 10 right now. And then we got other race winners like the Famous up there, other contenders like Spath. Now we could probably throw Andrich on in there as well, and a bunch of new names that we're seeing. So I mean, a lot of the old is the same, and some of the new is changing the outlook of everything. I think this is pretty good.
I would definitely say so too. And the winner being a new driver, first ever race in the series. It really goes to show just how much talent this series can attract. And we may have some familiar faces, your Gavin Sanders, your Caleb Bensies, your Logan Spatz, or at this point, and also Nate Siefker as well. Of course, you got your familiar faces, but you also got people that are realizing, hey, this is one of the best leagues to test your mettle in a challenging but really fun car on some really challenging road courses. And it's attracting a lot of people in. We've seen a lot of talent pass through here, and we've seen a lot of talent stick around, I think. And it always makes the races and makes the season exciting year on season, week on week, because you never really know entirely what to expect. It's never really predictable, I think. And I think we're going to be in for more of that this whole season. I think we're going to be in for, if this race was any indicator, next week's going to be great, and throughout the rest of the season, we're going to have some really good memories out of this one.
And once again, I want to shout out Sim Racing Warehouse and make sure to check out their 5% off coupon code. That is our discount code that is in the description, and buy some new sim gear today, and want to thank them for sponsoring the series. Also want to shout out that in December, P1 Broadcasting becomes the primetime home for Today at the Brickyard, sponsored by Oil and Gas Safety Supply, your nightly destination for all the action leading up to the prestigious PRI Hoosier 500. The last kiss of the bricks for 2025 was going to start right here on P1 and the Elite Racing Network. The countdown is on, so pucker up. Don't miss a second of the action. Like, share, and subscribe to stay locked in. We'll see you in December for the last big Indy Oval race of the year. Maybe a lot of these same drivers that you see in the lineup might also be in that lineup as well. So be sure to check us out when the PRI Hoosier 500 starts practice and qualifications right here on P1 and the Elite Racing Network. And it was announced this week that just yesterday, as a matter of fact, that I will be joining Arjuna Kankapati in the booth for the call of the PRI Hoosier 500. So that is a big opportunity for me, and I hope everyone gets a chance to check it out later this year. So that's going to wrap it up for today. Let's get on out of here, give everyone back their Wednesday nights. So that's it for tonight. Once again, your podium for the Nürburgring is Alex Chilcutt getting his first career win here in the series. Gets the big dub with Will Weiser. Another big dub right behind him, P2. And Gavin Sanders, Old Faithful, coming in third. Join us again next week for round 2 of Season 8 of the Formula Indy Series as we visit our first oval of the season, Auto Club Speedway in Fontana. Coverage begins around 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 8:20. That's 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember, as always, for the correct broadcast time in your area, you can find everything here on YouTube at youtube.com/@P1 Broadcasting. The next race for us here on P1 will be this. Let's see. No, actually, don't miss it. You know what? I'm messing up all my stuff. There we go. Now, the YouTube algorithm game is not an easy one. It's just like reading my intros and my outros. So please help support P1 with the weekly grind. Leave a comment below and let us know what you thought of tonight's race. And if you enjoyed tonight's coverage, support us by smashing like in the video. If you're new, click subscribe, and while you're at it, hit the bell for weekly reminders so don't miss out on more P1's other iRacing programming, including later this week, the AMA, the American Motorsports Association, their Archway Industrial Truck Series. They will visit New Hampshire on Friday at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't miss it. Track cams for this race are provided by Whiplash Sim Cams. Get the most out of your iRacing experience with Whiplash Sim Cams. To learn more about Whiplash, like them on Facebook or follow them on follow them on X and Instagram today. All the links you need are in the description. For business inquiries and learn more about P1 and what we do, like us on Facebook. You can follow us on X and Instagram. You can follow all of our social links. They're also on Linktree. Check them out. They are in the description. So for Stephen Larkamp, everyone here at the FIS and at P1 and Sim Racing Warehouse, I'm Gary Gatso, the voice of the FIS, saying to all, good night, and thanks for watching. And to all of our men and women serving in the military and as first responders, Godspeed, God bless, and come home safe. Guess us again next week at Auto Club Speedway in Fontana for the next race of the Formula Indy Series right here on P1. Good night, everybody.